Happy Friday, everybody. Dr. Vasquez here, obviously coming to you live. And I was just reading this article, which I'll show you on the screen. Title of this article from the Journal of Neurochemistry is The Roles of NADPH Oxidase and Phospholipases A2 in Oxidative and Inflammatory Responses in Neurodegenerative Diseases. I'm sure you're all interested in that, and that's why I'm trying to review the article. But damn, the damn thing is 16 pages long. And so that's getting pretty boring, you know? Like, I'm only halfway through it right now at best. And it better start getting good, or they should have cut this article in half and tried to make it more dense, you know? Like, quality scientific writing isn't simply descriptive, but it should be dense, and obviously it should be clear. And so I'm going through this article and it's starting to get painful, and that's why I'm taking a break. So during my break, which is your video, I'm going to talk about art for a second, because I just painted the other side of my office this morning. So I started doing this job and I took out some cables from the wall, and then that left a hole in the wall, and then I had to repair that, which meant I had to repaint it. And I just did that this morning. So I'm going to show you the other side of my office here in just a moment. But the theme of this particular conversation on art is cheap art. So, you know, I've done 2 videos now recently on art that I've purchased recently. But the purpose of this particular video is to show you how cheap that can be. And sometimes you have to be in the right place at the right time. But if you're ever going to be in the right place at the right time, you actually have to show up and go to art markets or flea markets or whatever. So, for example, I just happen to have this one here. This is one that I bought in Argentina, and it's the real deal. It's wooden. It's obviously a wooden sculpture of a king. I have another one. It was kind of a pair, and I presume this is legit, like 16th century, 17th century, maybe 15th century, maybe 14th century, I don't know. But this is the real deal. I mean, this is real kind of end of the medieval period, or, you know, like I said, 16th century or maybe 17th century. But it's just kind of cool. It's kind of a king motif, obviously. And you can see a little bit of white on it here, for example, and you can see where the paint's been removed. It's a little bit white. So around the 16th century, the way they would do wood carvings like this is they would obviously make the wood carving, but then they would paint the wood carving with plaster of Paris to give it kind of a solid or smooth base for them to then paint. So that's how I know this is legit, and it's probably 16th century, 15th century, something like that. And I paid $20 for that. So, you know, I like medieval stuff, and so I just bought it. It's $20. So I'm going to show you on the wall on the other side of my office here some art that I just put up last week, and I'm going to show you how cheap that can be. So I like European style art. I'm very clear on that. And so the other side of my office here, which I painted yellow, is all European motifs and ideas. Paris. So Paris, Portugal, obviously Spain, and then another one, I don't know anything about it, but it could be Germany or England. And all that stuff was cheap, you know. So again, like I said, the purpose of this particular video number 3 that I've done recently on art, is to show you how cheap it can be. But you got to show up to the markets if you're ever going to find deals, you know. So I'm going to show you each one of the pieces on the other side. But some of that stuff I paid $5 for. Or maybe I paid $10 and then bought a $4 frame. But I'm guessing that entire wall probably cost maybe $200. And the wall is absolutely filled with art. So I'll show you that. I'm going to turn the camera around and I'll show you those pieces. And you don't have to like them. I'm just showing you them as examples of European style art that I put together in a pretty classic, if I may say so, a pretty classic, organization. And I like it. And so I'm just trying to share that with you in case you need some inspiration to go to an art market this weekend. You can go to flea markets, art stores, secondhand stores. And again, like all this stuff was really cheap, but together it forms kind of a classic picture. I'll turn the camera around and show it to you right now. So this is one I talked about recently. It's obviously I think it's a drawing or a painting of Paris. I think this is actually a copy. I don't think that's original, although it could be. I guess it's a watercolor now that I actually look at it. Anyway, I paid $5 for that one. And it had a frame. And it actually has gold in the frame. I hadn't noticed that, actually. So it was kind of cheap and it was getting rained on, so I saved it. But, $5 for a good size and a gold frame, that's a pretty good deal. This is believe it or not, that's a painting. It looks like a watercolor. But it was actually painted using coffee. We bought that from the guy who did it. And that is Lisboa or Lisbon, Portugal. The easiest way to get European stuff into your house is to just take the picture yourself. And so this is Barcelona. This was probably March or April of 2016, because I had just finished publishing my big book, Inflammation Mastery. And so when I saw this big book sculpture in Barcelona, I obviously took a picture, had my wife take a picture. So that's what that is. Obviously that was free. So again, this was $5. This was probably $2. That was free because it's just a photo. This, I don't know, let's say it's a print of a bridge in northern Spain, a Roman bridge. I'm guessing I paid maybe $5 for that. Let's call it $10, and then a $2 frame or $4 frame, something like that. This one is one of my favorites just because I think it's funny. I'm guessing this came from Germany or England, but I just think it's funny because it looks like a warrior who, fought some big battle, and then he won this stupid prize, and he's kind of looking at it saying, "Are you kidding? Is that what I fought for?" So anyway, I paid $12 for that one. It's a plate. It's a ceramic, painted, and then surrounded by this bronze plate, which I think is pretty cool. But for $12, that was a bargain. This big picture here, that's the Raval neighborhood of Barcelona. I took that picture, I think, as we were leaving. And I always loved that sculpture here at the corner. I don't know who this guy was, but he was a writer. I can barely make out his name. Actually, I can't make out his name. It just says Barcelona there. So it's actually obviously not his name. And I can't tell if that's supposed to be his name, but I can't make it out right now. Anyway, it's a really great sculpture of a Spanish Catalan writer. And I just love seeing it, so that's why I took the picture as we were leaving. So obviously that was free except for the printing of the picture.